make sure that the covers are installed. After that, you can do a glove and hap check.
Okay.
And Nemo WVS survey looks good.
Okay.
The final mate-demate mechanism that secures the latching end effector into place has been driven. He did a final survey with his wireless video system on his helmet. Everything's looking good. With that, he'll do a final glove and hap check. This will happen periodically throughout today's extravehicular activity spacewalk, basically to make sure there are no scuff marks on the gloves and that the helmet absorption pad is dry and there's the coolant inside the spacesuit to keep the astronauts at a regulated temperature as they encounter plus 200 degrees Fahrenheit during the sun and negative 200 in the shade. That everything is regulated and not leaking into the helmet.
All right, Nemo, next is the CLA install. Again, warning for you, CLA, lens, light, and mating surface. Avoid contact with those.
I will do my best.
And gentlemen, just a big picture. We are doing actually great on time. So the plan is, Mark, for you to do the lead loop after you tear down the SSR miss.
Hey. All right, sounds good. Outstanding. Thanks for the heads up.
Aki Hoshide, the ground IV, communicating with our astronauts, currently spacewalking right now. The astronauts are way ahead of schedule. They are wrapping up their procedures just over an hour beyond the timeline. Norishige Kanai still at the workstation. Earlier today, he removed a camera light assembly from Lee A that was stored on the mobile base system and was moved into the airlock. Now he's going to install that camera light assembly onto this new, onto the new position of the latching end effector that's on the mobile base system. While he does that, Mark Vande will maneuver down to get into position to get off of the station's robotic arm and take the portable foot restraint that he's been riding throughout the duration of this EVA, take that off, and begin one of the get-ahead tasks since they're so ahead of the schedule. That task is to basically grease some of the components on the inside of the latching end effector. This is a regular maintenance task that we've encountered through many extravehicular activities in the past to maintain the quality of the latching end effectors, especially these fresh ones. As Jason Dyer described earlier today, as he came on console with me to talk about some of the activities with latching end effectors, this is a normal procedure to maintain the quality of those latching end effectors. So Mark Vande riding the station's robotic arm now to get off, while Norishige Kanai continues to install that camera light assembly onto the spare.
Mark, just watch the back of your place.
Copy. Behind there.
Just the robotic arm.
Oh, just that. Hey, CLA. What's the duct?
Here in Mission Control, Houston, the flight control team's monitoring today's EVA, today's spacewalk. Leading the teams here in the room is Zeb Scoville, flight director. Next to him is the Capcom, Doug Wheelock, communicating with the astronauts inside the station, while Aki Hoshide, the ground IV, communicates with our astronauts outside, performing the maintenance task of moving some of the latching end effectors around the station and bringing an old latching end effector inside to eventually go down to Earth, as Jason Dyer, Deputy Liaison Manager of the Canadian Space Agency, described earlier today. We're handing over communications with our tracking and data relay satellites, regaining communication, audio and visual with the International Space Station and our spacewalking astronauts here shortly.
DD2.
Yeah, sorry, we're at a handover just now. So Nemo, next for you is a PGT setting, Bravo 1, clockwise 2.
Bravo 1, clockwise 2, set.
We're going to install the structural bolt, that's the one without the tether point, 15 to 20 turns to a hard stop.
Structural. How many turns?
15 to 20 turns to a hard stop.
15 to 20.
Mark, we're ready for your go for the APFR egress position.
And Aki, if you don't mind me taking the comm, I'll do the GCA.
You have the comm.
Okay, let's do the GCA to, or actually, Nemo, you got any comm you need with the round? No, I'm good. Okay, Joe, let's do the GCA to the published APFR egress position.
Okay, you got it. We'll get into mode, let you know before we start, and it's just going to be a station aft maneuver.
From this view, Norishige Kanai continues to work to install the camera light assembly onto the spare latching end effector that was just recently secured onto the mobile base system. This will provide visual and light for future operations while it remains in its spare part configuration that's on the mobile base system. Meanwhile, Mark Vande, heading towards his what's called egress position. Basically, he's been on the portable foot restraint of the station's robotic arm through most of today's spacewalk. He's now getting into position to get out of that foot restraint, take the foot restraint off of the station's robotic arm, and start the get-ahead tasks. The spacewalking astronauts ahead of the schedule and able to perform what will be referred to as relaunched, basically greasing the inside of the latching end effector that Mark Vande is currently riding.
Mark, we're at the published.
Okay, I can take it from here. Okay, complete.
GCA complete.
Here's on your go before egressing to APFR.
Brakes are on. You have a go for egress.
Thank you.
Copy, you can egress the APFR and then perform a safety tether swap.
Aki, thank you.
So now Mark Vande is in position, switching his tethers over to his egress position, basically getting out of the foot restraint, as you have seen he just did pretty easily, actually. Now he'll make sure he's secured with those tethers, turn around, and take the portable foot restraint off of the station's robotic arm.
Yeah, UVA task is watching out for you.
Okay, Axon, double check. Double one, clockwise 2, structural bolt first.
Yep, structural bolt first, that's the one without the tether point. And Bravo 1, clockwise 2.
Okay, I got structural bolt in, 18.8 and 12.1 pound, green light.
Stand by. Nemo, we're good with those numbers. We'll move on to the demate bolt. Again, same PGT setting, Bravo 1, clockwise 2, 15 to 20 turns to a hard stop.
Roger that. And the correction for the turn, it's 18.53.
Copy, 18.53 turns. Thank you.
Moving on the major demate.
Concur.
Okay, I have 18.13 turns, 12.4 pounds, green light.
Copy, good numbers. Check that the indicator button is in.
I will check it. Okay, I see two indicators both in.
Copy, nice job. You can turn off your PGT and stow it on your swing arm.
Copy. No.
And once you get the PGT on your swing arm, you can remove the scoop and stow it in your medium or U bag.
So with that, Norishige Kanai has successfully installed the camera light assembly onto the latching end effector that has been recently moved over to its new home on the mobile base system.
And the reels are unlocked. I'm just getting back to SP2 from the arm. Getting in position for the
Now Kanai will clean up his workspace, taking off the scoop that helped him to handle the installation of the camera light assembly.
We're going to do the relube. So once you remove the APFR, it's going to go in with 5, and I'll get you settings when we get there.
Meanwhile, Mark Vande is taking the portable foot restraint off of the station's robotic arm and putting it back in its place on the external stowage platform. This gives him plenty of time to go back to the airlock and start getting some tools for the lube activity, which is basically greasing the latching end effector that Mark Vande has been riding through the duration of today's EVA.
Zenith, about 1.6 meters.
Copy. Or GCA.
Arms coming in motion.
Motion.
Mark, the ingress aid looks good.
It does. Yep.
Joe Akaba inside the International Space Station with Scott Tingle using the station's robotic arm to get the arm a little bit closer to Mark Vande so he can get a good handle on that portable foot restraint and get it off the station's robotic arm.
$30.
You can stop motion right there.
Okay, motion stop.
And I'll stand by for your go before I do the APFR retrieval.
Okay, we copy that. GCA is complete. Brakes are on, and you have a go for APFR retrieval.
There you go, thanks. Houston, I have a report for the medium ORU back inventory.
Go ahead. Yeah, Nemo, we're ready.
I have a small wreck attached to the scoop. I have another small, actually the 16 small attached to the ratchet with 2 inch. And I have long duration tie down feather directly attached inside the hook. And I have 15 small to the grounding strap.
Copy all. That's all great inventory.
All right, so now I'm going to flip back on my BRT.
That's good words. You can stow it on your BRT, head back to, actually, we're going to go, have you go to ESP2. So retrieve your green hook and make sure you press the port seat of cart brake pedals twice.
Okay, and with back, correct?
Say again, Nemo.
I have going to ESP2 with medium ORU back, my BRT.
That is correct.
Okay.
So Nemo, big picture for you, since Mark's going to be doing the lead loop, we'll have you go back to ESP2 and then do the FSC cleanup that we deferred earlier, and also do the MLI number 2 task at ESP2.
Okay. And I attempt to ORU back somewhere.
Yeah, Nemo, you're going to use it later for the FMS ground strap and the RMCT. Your choice whether you want to temp stow it at the airlock or at ESP2.
Okay, I will stow back in airlock.
Yeah, just outside the airlock.
So Norishige Kanai is wrapping up the last of his designated tasks for today's spacewalk. He has installed the camera light assembly onto the spare latching end effector, taken the tools and stored them back in his equipment bag, and strapped it to himself with a BRT, the body restraint tether. With that completes his designated tasks, and both he and Mark Vande are able to now get to some of those get-ahead tasks. Vande will be working on the Lee lube, that is basically greasing the inside of the latching end effector that's currently on the robotic arm, the one that was swapped out back in the spacewalk back in January. Norishige Kanai will go back and clean up the work site from where the latching end effector that he's working on right now at the mobile base system. He'll go back to where it was its temporary storage place back at the external platform and clean up the work area there before getting to some of his get-ahead tasks.
And checking gloves. Still good, and the hub is dry.
Copy all. Thank you.
All right, Aki, I got 6 Papa Foxtrot 6 installed.
Copy. Good pull
black
twist
on
test.
black, good pull and twist test. Yep.
You read our mind. Thank you.
Thanks for double checking me. That is for sure.
All right, Mark, with that, make sure you're clear of tethers and tools. You can go back to airlock. You can pick up the Lee lube bag. While you are there, you can pick up the RMCT with adjustable temp stow it outside the airlock for demo.
Okay. That didn't work. Okay, Nemo is back to Theta cart and retrieving green foot.
Copy.
Okay, green foot is retrieved and the wheel is unlocked.
Copy, Nemo. Thank you very much. Make sure you press the port Theta cart brake pedals twice, and watch out for those truss cables.
And Mark and Aki, looks like we have your go for the Lee lube back off position.
And Houston is good with that. Make sure Mark is clear.
I am at the airlock.
We show them clear, so we'll go ahead and put that in work.
Thank you, Joe.
Joe Akaba from inside the International Space Station, working with Scott Tingle controlling the station's robotic arm, now initiating the first maneuvers of some of the get-ahead tasks, the one Mark Vande is currently about to work on. Joe Akaba getting this robotic arm into position with Scott Tingle for that lubing activity to grease the inside of the new Lee B that's currently on the station's robotic arm. Now entering into an orbital sunrise, the station is 263 statute miles above the Earth, just passing southeast of New Zealand into the South Pacific Ocean.
Copy.
going, Mark? Going good, thanks. And Aki, I don't need my PGT, do I? Or is there another task I might need it for? Keep it. Just tell me otherwise.
Stand by. Yeah, Mark, yeah, you can leave your PGT in the airlock.
Okay. It's catch.
So, Mark, Nemo's right outside the door. If you want to hand over the RMCT, he can grab it.
All right, and Nemo actually is going to have to pass off his PGT to get the RMCT, right? Or not? No, I did. Oh, yeah. Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, in the ORU bag.
I will work the RMCT. Okay, I'm working on passing stuff to Nemo. I'm going to leave the adjustable in here, Nemo. The RMCT. Give me 1 second to... Where are you back?
And Mark, he needs the adjustable. So give the adjustable and the RMCT to Nemo, please.
Okay. That works. That works. Yep, I agree. Phew. All right, let me know when you're ready. Ready. Ready to receive. Not sure where you are. Ooh. Boy. Okay, I will attach adjustable rep to me so you can release. Actually, I will release rep. Okay, just let me know when you let go of it and I'll retrieve it. Okay, there you go. Thank you, sir.
Less than 3 hours into this planned 6.5-hour spacewalk, both of our spacewalkers are now getting ready for get-ahead tasks. The primary objectives of today's spacewalk are complete, and now they're getting ready for 2 separate get-ahead tasks. Basically, since they're out there, they have the ability to get some of these lower priority tasks done.
Yeah, Mark, we saw it reel in to the airlock. It might be behind one of the crew lock bags.
Okay. Okay. Would have been a large, small. I've not seen an open large, small. Yeah, there it is. Okay. That's where my PGT's going. Okay, meanwhile, I am working on the temp stowing. Or you back? You want it, not as that, or you bag go in the airlock? Because you want me to take that in? Or use this one later. Okay, copy.
Yeah, Nemo's going to temp stow it outside the airlock. And Nemo, you can stow the RMCT in the medium ORU bag.
That's my intention.
Copy that.
Let me know when I'm clear to come out. Or here on the aft side. On the aft side, I can go to the aft side? Yep. Yep. Okay, and pay extra attention to our tethers, because I came back here and over the top of your safety tether, I think, so you might have just passed them around each other. If you go out aft side, should be fine. Okay.
already planning ahead for their get-ahead tasks. The duo are now at the hatch of the airlock, preparing for their next activities. Mark Vande putting away his pistol grip tool that he used to drive some of the bolts for switching out the latching end effector, some activities that were the primary tasks of today's spacewalk. Norishige Kanai temporarily stowing his equipment bag that he used to carry the camera light assembly from latching end effector to latching end effector. Just stowing it outside of the airlock. Doesn't need to put it away quite yet, but in the meantime he's got a robot microconical tool that he'll use for one of the get-ahead tasks to install onto the Dexter manipulator unit that's used for robotic manipulation to avoid basically EVAs and do maintenance tasks without the need for a spacewalk. And in the meantime, Mark Vande getting some tools for the lubing activities to basically grease up the new Lee B, the latching end effector that's currently on the station's robotic arm, regular maintenance task that's done on many EVAs prior to maintain the quality of that latching end effector.
Okay, Axon, I am going to verify by spin small for showing IMCT inside the bag.
Stand by. And we were just talking about that. So Mark has an additional RET on his mini workstation. You can grab that from him and then use that.
You bet. Get a local down here, Nemo, and then I'll be right with you. Okay. May I steal your former PGT RET? I have a large, small I can give you. Okay. That works. But you see one on my swing arm that I'm not using? Yeah. It's in front of my face. Very tempting. If you see an empty one on my swing arm, you can take it. Okay. All right. I got one from swing arm. Thank you. To keep my fitting small, my mini station. Copy. Now, Aki, I'm going to close the thermal cover. Okay, let's do it. Hey. And I see our cameras are going to fit too. Okay, thank you for confirmation. We need some more work. Actually, let me just double check our... I see your red hook is closed and locked. Mm-hmm. My anchor hook is closed and locked.
Spacewalkers have all of their tools for some of the get-ahead tasks. They'll go their separate ways and perform some of those tasks, closing the thermal cover to the crew lock that regulates the temperature inside, make sure it doesn't get overheated, especially with the sun shining inside. Space station now entering an orbital sunrise, 258 statute miles over the Earth, passing past the terminator line into the orbital sunrise just over the South Pacific Ocean.
My red hook is still closed and locked. The yellow hook is still closed and locked. Alrighty. Alright, Mark, good luck for your show task. Thank you. Now, if I go before you right now, that'll put us in the same kind of expected config where your jet is on top of mine, right? Yeah. Should go first. Okay, I'm heading that way.
And Nemo, could you verify that the rep that you just took is not on the ORU bag strap? That is not a certified location. Make sure that it's on a tether point.
Okay. Thank you for checking.
You bet. So, Mark, you're heading back to the ESP2 with 5.
Agreed.
In Houston and Mark, the SSRMS is clear of ESP2, and you have a go for the worksite setup.
Copy, thanks.
Houston copies, thanks.
Okay, Houston, I have just a ball attached on the hoop is attached to the outside of the ring, outside of the tether point, so it should be legal, right?
That looks good, Nemo. Thank you.
So then I will keep the sables small red for the work site.
That sounds like a great plan, Nemo.
All right. ESP2 also heading down to ESP2.
And Nemo, we would recommend you take the NADA route, so go under the ESP2 to get to the worksite.
Sounds good. Cool.
So Nemo, at ESP2, we'll have you do the FSC cleanup and the MLI number 2. Your choice which one you want to do first.
Okay. After that.
And Mark, we see you at the APFR, and you got your tether, waist tether on the ingress aid.
That's the firm.
Copy. You can ingress, and after you ingress, give us a glove and hap check.
Copy.
So with all of the tools for future get-ahead tasks in tow, off the spacewalkers go to their respective get-ahead tasks. First is Mark Vande from this view right here, going back into the portable foot restraint where he's been for most of the day's tasks. This time their foot restraint is on the external stowage platform, and the robotic arm is positioned for lubrication. In that bag that he's got attached to him are a couple of tools that'll help him with the lubrication activity, basically to grease the inside of the newly swapped out latching end effector that was swapped back in an extravehicular activity earlier this year, back in January. He'll use what's called a BLT, ball screw lubrication tool, put some grease on the end of it, and begin that maintenance task. In the meantime, with future get-ahead tasks and tools in mind, Nemo Kanai will go over to the workstation where they were earlier in the EVA to sort of clean up some of the activities that they kind of bounced past to make sure they got their primary task objectives completed. He'll clean up that workspace, and then as time permits, get some of those get-ahead tasks accomplished.
Copy. And HAPS?
HAP is good.
Copy. You can retrieve the BLT from your crew lock bag and check the alignment of the cradle and zip tie with the edge of the handle.
All right, that should work. Okay, finally, Nemo is on the work site. They're working on the SSE first.
Do you say the pivot?
Yes.
Okay, copy that. So you can remove the pivot bracket pip pins. Those are the large ones. First, if you want to use work on the forward pip pin, install that in the pip pin stow location.
Actually, I'm working on the aft side first.
Yeah, my bad. Yeah, so you can retrieve the aft pip pin, and we see that you have a red on it already. So you can remove it and stow it in your trash bag.
Roger that.
An impressive 3 hours and 12 minutes into today's spacewalk. Mark Vande already beginning the some get-ahead tasks for an originally planned 6.5-hour day.
Okay, later 15 successfully retrieved.
Copy. Did you say it's in the small trash bag?
That's correct.
Okay. You can move to the forward side and install the forward pip pin in the pip pin stow location.
Yes, it's already attached on the linear, so I don't need that.
Yeah, no ret required for that one. And Mark, we see you prepping.
Thank you.
Copy. You can rotate the the pivot bracket to the stow position. And Mark, we see you have the BLT between the door and the crew lock bag.
I agree.
Copy. Just a warning, avoid glove contact with the lee except for the shroud, and do not cross the lee opening plane with your hand.
Copy.
Retrieve a wipe from the crew lock bag and temp stow it on the mini workstation or external to the crew lock bag.
Good work. Thank you. That's complete.
Okay, expand an EVA wipe for use terry cloth on the inside.
Complete.
You can retrieve the grease gun from the crew lock bag and release the wire ties holding the grease gun from the crew lock bag.
Works.
And about a minute and a half till a handover. And Nemo, you can install the pivot braces, 2 of them, onto the pivot bracket. And copy. And you can install the pip pins, the small ones.
Sir. Okay, I got the grease gun.
Copy. Verify EMU tethers, tools, and ingress aid is clear of the SSRMS envelope, and you can give arm a go-to position for the central rigidizing ball screw axis.
All right, if you're ready for that GCA, I'll take the comm. So, do you need the comm for anything?
Stand by, Nemo. Where you at?
I'm sorry. Yep, and complete the pivot side They're working on the MLI too.
Copy.
Are you okay if I take the comm?
Yes. And Houston concurs, you can take the comm in about 20 seconds to a handover.
Copy. Go and maker. The GCA to the central ball screw loop.
Yeah, we'll put that in work.
So as we hand over communication from satellite to satellite, we'll regain it here in a few seconds, very shortly. To recap what's happening, the two spacewalkers are completed with their primary tasks of moving some of the latching end effectors around the station. First, Lee A, that was taken off on a spacewalk back in October, was taken from the mobile base system inside the airlock, and then Lee B, that was swapped back in January, was taken from the external stowage platform back up to its long-term storage home on the mobile base system. That was done in less than 3 hours of a planned 6.5-hour spacewalk. Now our two spacewalkers are doing get-ahead tasks. Norishige Kanai is over at the external platform cleaning up from some of the activities that they did earlier today. Already done with one of them. Now he's on to the next. In the meantime, Mark Vande is strapped in the portable foot restraint, also on the external platform, positioned right in front of the station's robotic arm with a ball screw lubrication tool in hand, also a grease gun. He's using the grease gun to put onto a pad that's on the ball screw lubrication tool to begin the maintenance task to actually just sort of grease up some of the components inside the latching end effector that was recently swapped out. This new one recently swapped out back in January. Joe Akaba and Scott Tingle on the inside of the station are using the robotic arm to get closer to Mark Vande, who is positioned getting ready to begin that lubrication activity.
Wave.
In Vande's hand now is the grease gun that he'll use to put onto the pad and use the lubrication tool to begin the lubing activity.
The grease gun. We see you remove the tip cover, push the plunger in, black triangle up, and then copy. Rotate the restraint ring to the open position and open the shutoff knob.
That's all complete.
Copy. Carefully apply.
Put on a double layer of piece out of the BLT.
You got it. All right, back to you, Nemo. You're at the MLI number 2 cleanup work site?
Still working. I need to retrieve Mark's adjustable first.
Okay, copy that.
Mark, just for your information, I'm just under your feet. Okay? Oh, I see you. Try not to get you with grease. He's not. All right, Aki, I saved the grease gun. I'm taking the DLT off of the crew lock bag. I'm getting ready to move the central ball screw.
Copy that. And for both of you and the folks inside, we just received confirmation that the POA is operational. Great job.
Yeah. Nice.
Good news from here on the ground. The latching end effector that the two spacewalkers installed earlier on today's EVA, the latching end effector is now on the mobile base system. That's where the POA is. It's communicating perfectly and perfectly installed by the two spacewalking astronauts today, who are way ahead of the timeline today and already on to their get-ahead activities.
Screw as far in as possible. Move the BLT towards the lee opening, one direction only, and apply the grease.
Copy.
Verify ridges are built, and BLT cradle has significantly less grease when you are complete.
Fill the ridges. Oh, that's not as significantly less as I would have hoped. But yeah, there's definitely grease that's been put out from the BLT onto the control ball screw.
Copy, Mark?
WVS?
Yeah, well, you see the WVS, but the resolution's not that great. So we got your words, so we're good. Verify EMU tethers, tools, and ingress aids are clear of the SSRMS envelope, and we'll move on to the latch ball screws.
They are clear.
You can give the arm a go to the published position for access to the first latch screw.
Okay, Aki, you need Nemo, do you need to come for anything? I have marks, red, adjustable equipment tether is received successfully. It's 4014.
Copy, serial number 4014. Thanks for the report. And you can reinstall the MLI number 2 over the fixed bracket and gather excess MLI. And you can use your wire ties, 2 long wire ties recommended to secure those fabrics.
Okay, understood. Okay, with that, I'll take the crown for a GCA. Go and make her. Let's do the GCA for the task.
Okay, and so Mark, we'll just, to get us all on the same page here, so we're showing from our position, at least in terms of wrist roll, that you should be close to latch number 4. Does that look correct to you?
So, actually, number 4 I'm tracking as the one. So, Aki, help me out. From the CLA, looking at my view right now, I'm counting 1, 2, 3, and 4 clockwise, starting with the CLA, correct?
That is correct. Starting from the CLA, clockwise goes 1, 2, 3, 4.
I can do that. That'll work. I'm going to check to see if I can read. Let me see if I can do it. Is there a published position for this show?
So there's no translation for this, so we can do whatever you need for us to do. And then in terms of the wrist roll, it has a published minus 40, and we're showing minus 36, so we're pretty close to that. So we can give you whatever you need and use that as a starting point for the remaining latches.
Yeah, let's just take me to the exact published position. I think will help me out.
Okay, we'll go ahead and get things set up here. We'll let you know before we move it.
So, quick update. Mark Vande already rocking through some of the get-ahead activities. He, with the ball screw lubrication tool, already greased up the central ball screw, that big circle that you see there. Now he's going to work his way around some of the latches, those 4 sort of flower petal-looking latches that you see there. In reference to the camera light assembly, he's working with Joe Akaba and Scott Tingle on the inside of the space station, controlling the robotic arm, saying, we can put the robotic arm wherever you need us to. From the camera light assembly that you can see from Vande view, it's at the top of the latching end effector right there. they're talking about working on latch number 4, which is the top left latch first.
Say 4 or 40?
So we're at, the published is minus 40, and we're at minus 36 right now, so it's pretty close.
I thought you meant you needed to go another negative 40 to get there, so no, let's stay right here.
Okay, no problem. If you're happy where you're at, we'll go ahead and put brakes on, and again, we can sweeten it up for you if you need it.
This is good. Let's put brakes on and let me know when you're ready.
We're ready for you.
Okay, I'm going to start doing a couple dry runs of this.
And stand by, Mark. Before you start, Joe, I think you guys need to extend the lee latches.
Oh, gosh. Catch.
Copy. We'll put step 10.5 in work. Thanks.
So Joe Akaba and Scott Tingle working with the station's robotic arm, clearing the way for Mark Vande to continue the greasing activities on the 4 latches that are sort of the flower petal looking things of Latching End Effector B, where Vande is working currently.
Was the cradle on the BLT looked a little crooked or bent, I guess? Could you verify that it's in a good config? And if not, you can move it, but when you move it, make sure that you use a wipe, not your hand.
Okay. So
yeah, it looks like it's tilted down.
Yeah, that might explain why I got less grease off of it than I expected to. So would you like me to do the central ball screw again?
Stand by, chicken.
We're standing by.
Thanks.
Mark, if you can visually see that there are grease on the center bowl screw, we're good with that.
So, pretty hard to see in there.
All right, Mark, let's do it again just to make sure we got it.
Okay, and I'll just approach it from a slightly different angle just so I don't get whatever I got off of there on there before.
Copy and concur.
All right, so you guys are standing by with the robotic arm, correct?
Yes, and we have brakes on.
Thank you.
And Mark, do you want to fix the cradle first?
I did fix it already.
Copy.
Since the astronauts are ahead of the timeline, they're taking their time and making sure that the all components of the latching end effector are greased. No need to rush since they're so ahead of the timeline. Mark Vande now going back to the central ball screw before going over to some of the latches that surround that center part.
Actually, all we're doing is the latches extend, so you're go for that, Joe.
Okay, copy that. We'll go ahead and extend the latches. We'll let you know when that's complete.
Copy.
From this view, Mark Vande in the foreground there, right positioned in front of the station's robotic arm in the background. Norishige Kanai finishing up some of the cleanup activities from the primary tasks earlier, just tying down an insulation cover to protect some of the components on the external platform.
The latches extending.
Awesome.
Actually, while those are extending, I think the first one I'm doing is the one that's at my upper left WVS view.
Okay, copy. Upper left. That means latch number 4.
Yeah, that's the first one you wanted, right?
We can work any latches, your call.
And that is the first one we have marked for the position that we're looking at. And we can let you know the latches are extended.
And you said the latches are fully extended?
Yes, sir. Latch is fully extended.
Rocky, if you agree, I'll start the dry runs.
Okay, copy that. We are ready for the dry run. I think you know the routine, but do you need me to read you up some words?
Go for it. I'll do it while you're talking.
All right.
Change it if I'm doing something wrong.
Copy that. You've retrieved the BLT, verified the BLT cradle black Sharpie line and the zip tie are aligned, and the cradle is not bent, which you fixed already. Identify and report the latch gap of your choice. So latch number 4, report right or left side. I guess it's the left.
So with my orientation, it's the left side.
Copy left. Orient the BLT such that the stem is closest to the electrical connector cover corner, and the cradle is along the side of the latch shroud.
I only go into that tape, right?
That looks good to me. While keeping in the stem parallel to the lee, insert the BLT into the latch gap until the depth gauge reaches the latch shroud.
Okay.
Rotate the BLT counterclockwise so the black line and zip tie are centered on the electrical connectors.
Yep, I get it.
Pivot the BLT cradle toward the bowl screw. BLT stem should rest near the electrical connector cover corner in the latch shroud.
Okay. Good job, but I need some more GCA.
Okay, what do you need?
So, I don't know how you... Here we go again. So, I'd like this to aim more towards my right hip. So that would be... From your orientation, from my orientation, it's a... No, from the lee's orientation, it would be a yaw left and a pitch down.
Okay, well, let's give you that pitch down first. We'll see how that looks.
Okay, about 10 degrees should do it.
Mark Vande working his way around the greasing activities of the latching end effector, starting with latch number 4 on the left side, working with Joe Akabu, who's on the inside of the space station at the controls for the robotic arm, getting into a good position so Vande has a nice angle for the greasing activities as he works his way around.
Everyone here is saying you did it much better than a C+, so great job there.
Yes. Thank you so much. I'm heading back to airlock for retrieving a look back, actually, the ORU bag.
And Nemo copied your last. We're good with that. Thank you for working ESP2. And you can go back to the airlock.
Yes. But my gloves and the hat is still same as starting point.
Thank you for that report.
And Aki, okay if I take the count for a GCA?
Hey, firm. Joe's talking to the ground right now, checking for some robotic stuff. But we are good with you taking the comm.
Okay, you need the count?
Negative. You can have the comm.
Mark, we're just working on command frames to make sure we get to the right thing, so just give us a second.
Mark. I am heading back to airlock. See you later.
Hey, you bet. You're heading back to the airlock for what?
Retrieving the bag.
Okay. And then where are you going to next?
Actually, Nova 2.
Okay. Which task are you working on?
Ha ha ha! Iron City!
All right.
And Mark, we're going to go ahead and put the arm in motion. So let's call this, act as if this is a GCA.
Copy. RGCA. Pitch down 10 degrees.
Here it comes.
Good motion.
Pretty good motion.
You pass the 10.
Continue.
Motion.
Okay, stop motion.
Let's do yaw left, 15 degrees.
Okay, we're going to go left, 15 degrees.
Yep. Good motion.
Okay, good motion.
Continue past the 15 degrees.
Copy, continuing.
Keep it coming. You
Continuing. That's 15 degrees.
keep it going. Continue. And stop motion.
Okay, we're going to stop motion there. Let us know how it looks.
You can actually get or two. Awesome. Sort of. All right, that's GCA complete.
Okay, GCA complete.
Copy GCA.
And we have brakes on.
And thanks for the breakdown call. I'll pick up with the driver on Zaki.
Copy. Before that, for Nemo, we saw you pick up the medium RU bag translating. So, big picture, you're going to do the RMCT deploy. In order to do that, you're going to go up to lab zenith and then head port and then down on the nadir side. And then after the RMCT deploy, we'll pick up in the FMS ground strap install.
Okay.
And for Mark, yeah, let's pick back up in the dry run. You got the BLT, you know this drill. So orient the BLT such that the stem is closest to the electrical connector. And while keeping the stem parallel to the lee, insert the BLT into the latch gap until the depth gauge reaches the latch shroud. Rotate the BLT counterclockwise so that the black line and zip tie are centered on the electrical connector. Pivot the BLT cradle toward the ball screw, and then move the BLT along the ball screw to feel for ridges. You can move it two directions.
Copy all, thanks.
Ground IV Aki Hoshide walking Mark Vande through the practice run of lubing up the inside of the latching end effector.
Copy. Okay, Nemo is down towards Lab Venus.
Copy.
While Vande continues the greasing activities, he'll be hanging out again on the portable foot restraint where he's been for most of today's spacewalk. The portable foot restraint originally strapped onto the station's robotic arm, which he's working on now, but to do the mostly to do the primary task of moving some of the latching end effectors. Norishige Kanai just wrapped up some of the cleanup activities from those primary tasks, strapping down some thermal covers, and now is moving on to the next get-ahead task with a robot microconical tool in hand. It's basically a tool that is going to be installed onto the Dexter manipulator unit, which is able to do maintenance on the outside of the space station without the need for a spacewalk. Kanai is heading over to the workstation now next to the Destiny lab where the Dexter sits now to install that new tool.
Outside of the lab.
Copy.
There you go. I see STDM waiting for me.
Copy that. All right, Mark, we see you doing this traffic BLT in the crew lock back door, and verify that BLT cradles, Sharpie line, and zip tie are aligned.
Copy. You know, honestly, the zip tie is kind of useless. Going with the handle and the Sharpie line.
Copy that. Is it getting bent?
It's got an arc to it. So
Yeah, we see it.
or not, but it's kind of random.
Copy. All right, once you're happy, you can retrieve the grease gun and lock out the ret as desired.
Copy.
So now that he's gone through the technique with Aki Hoshide, the ground IV here in Mission Control Houston, he is now, Mark Vande now on the portable foot restraint right in front of the station's robotic arm is ready to actually begin the greasing activities. So with his tool bag in hand is going to get the grease gun and start applying it to his tool to begin those activities.
Okay, over here. I am port side, alternator side of the lab.
Copy.
Ready. Oh, to translate.
You will let us know when you're at the work site.
Roger that.
And Mark, you got 2 layers?
You get 2 layers. I'd say 2 1/4 layers, quite honestly,
Copy.
because some keeps coming out.
Houston, just for confirmation, using SPDM structure is also a fair game for the translation, right?
Standby. And Nemo, we see you at the EOTP. The SPDM is actually on the aft side of the lab, so you need to go around.
No. Yes. But for go around this structure, it's okay to holding handrail on the SPDM.
And Nemo, on the Lee handrail, we're good with that, using it as a translation. But on the EOTP, we'd like to minimize, so if you can avoid it, that would be great.
Okay, yep.
Do you have a good translation path?
It's very hard, but I think I can make it.
Copy.
Mark, how's it going?
It's going okay.
All right. You can do it.
Great.
Kanai on his way to the backside of the dexterous manipulator unit that's currently on the station's laboratory, maneuvering into position to install that microconical tool. In the meantime, Mark Vande still on the tip of the portable foot restraint, actually applying grease to the newly installed latching end effector that was installed back in January, part of some regular maintenance to maintain the quality of the end effector.
I think you want to temp stow that. You can temp stow it anywhere you'd like, and then you can use that BRT to, BRT to a handrail to stabilize yourself for the RMCT.
Okay. Work. Back is temp stowed. I got the BRT attached and reading RMCT.
Copy, Nemo. Mark, how are you doing?
It's not giving me a lot of positive confirmation here. I'm getting to the point where I feel like I can't move it left and right, and it looks like the orientation's in the right place. I'm dragging up, and I feel, that's how I felt, probably only about an inch long of threads. When I pull this back out, it's like nothing came off of it. Oh, you know what? It did. So the fact that I have to tilt it so much, I pulled it out. It was only the edge that's closest to it is hitting the threads. I was deceiving myself into thinking that I wasn't making any progress, but I took it off the underside, so I think that worked.
Mark, did you feel ridges?
I did feel ridges for sure, but it was only about an inch before I ran into a hard stop. Does that make sense? An inch pulling back towards myself.
Standby check. Mark, did you get just an inch because when you're pulling, or was it during the two direction, in and out?
Oh, no. I definitely couldn't move left and right. It was when I was pulling it towards me. I could only pull it and drag along those ridges for about an inch before I hit some other structure, it felt like.
Did you feel like you were fully in?
I know I was up to the tape. In fact, my tendency was to go past the tape.
Step back.
The depth indicator, I mean.
Mark, sounds like we're good on this latch. For the next and the other latches, you can go past that tape, that depth gauge, if you need to.
Oh, great. Okay. How far past the depth gauge?
Checking.
While you're checking, how about I do the GCA to the next latch ball screw?
Yeah, go ahead with the GCA.
Nemo, you need Tom?
Yeah, okay. That's fine. If you give me next step, that would be great. I have cold, top, set, confirmed. All right, Mark, you have come to GCA first.
Okay. Joe and Maker, how about a positive wrist roll of 110 degrees for the next one?
Got it, buddy. We're going to go ahead and put that in work, and we'll let you know.
Okay. I am making sure I'm clear.
Yes.
Okay, I'm clear.
Copy, you're clear.
You can do this one fast.
You got it. We're going to put you in high-speed course, and it's coming in motion now.
Motion.
Good motion.
Joe Akaba and Scott Tingle now rotating the latching end effector on the end of the station's robotic arm to get into a position where Mark Vande with the ball screw lubrication tool, the BLT, can start applying grease to another latch that's on that latching end effector. In the meantime, Norishige Kanai is over at the workstation next to the Dexter manipulator unit that's on the backside of the station's laboratory. With the microconical tool in hand, he's ready to install it, just awaiting for the next steps of procedures from Aki Hoshide down here on the ground IV communicating with our astronauts today.
As possible with the lead when you're going in.
That makes sense. I've been skirting along the edge of the shroud, so I'm pretty confident I'm going parallel when I go in. If you're saying I should only go in 4 inches, that's much shorter than a depth gauge would have me go in.
Yeah, that's the 4-inch is the travel on the bowl screw. So once you're in, you can move it, slide it, plus or minus 2 inches, 4 inches total.
Okay. Okay, so basically use the depth gauge to start, then go up and down a couple inches.
Copy. Copy that. 1 minute to handover. And back to you, Nemo. Sorry to have you hold. Understand you got the drive mode indicator and call it, and status indicator and capture. We need to have you verify the socket position indicator is in retracted.
Retracted.
Okay.
We have brakes on.
Copy.
You can set the ratchet wrench to clockwise, position the RMCT over the microconical fixture. Make sure that the status indicator is facing the microconical target.
Okay, I have still RMCT not installed, so may I install? Indicator is towards the target.
Yes, you can install it, and about 10 seconds to handover.
Roger that.
So now transitioning between the tracking and data relay satellites that are providing audio and visual communication from the International Space Station. Right before that handover, Aki Hoshide, the ground IV, was communicating some of the steps for Norishige Kanai to finally install that microconical tool. He's been waiting outside the Dexter that's positioned over the station's lab to install that tool onto Dexter. Meanwhile, Mark Vande still on the end of the portable foot restraint that's attached to the external platform that allows him to have a nice position for applying grease to the inside of the newly installed latching end effector, the one installed back in January this year. Here in the room, of course, the voices you're hearing on the loops today, Aki Hoshide communicating the steps. Of course, the lead EVA officer for today, Sarah Corona, relaying those intricate steps to Hoshide to relay to the spacewalkers up in space.
So the indicator is facing the target.
Copy. Do a pull test. Make sure the RMST will be loose, but make sure it's captured.
It's captured.
Okay, you can remove the scoop, stow it in the crew lock bag, or sorry, the medium RE bag.
Roger that.
Mark, we're watching. It looks good.
Copy. We got that one.
Copy. Nice job.
U.S EVA, I'm ready for another GCA.
Okay, you have come.
You need it for anything?
Yeah, let me just talk to Nemo real quick. So next is using the ratchet wrench to capture or lock this RMCT. While driving the bolt, don't push down. That will cause the drive mode to change. And you can drive using the ratchet wrench approximately 3 turns to a hard stop and coming up on a night pass.
Okay.
Just over 4 hours into today's spacewalk, even on the get-aheads, our astronauts are rocking through the procedures today. Mark Vande already completing the task, or about to complete the task of applying grease to latch number 1. He already greased latch number 4. Now he's got 2 more to go. He'll be working with Joe Akaba and Scott Tingle on the inside of the space station, rotating the latching end effector to give him a good position to apply the grease. In the meantime, Norishige Kanai using a ratchet to literally drive down this microconical tool being installed on the Dexter.
Okay, copy. That is in work.
Motion.
Motion.
The space station entering an orbital nighttime. The views from the outside of the station will start to get a little bit darker. Space station is flying 251 statute miles above the Earth, just east off the coast of Africa, flying on a southeasterly course over the Indian Ocean.
And we have the brakes on.
Copy, brakes on, thanks. And Aki, I've done latch 4 and I did latch 1. When I did latch 1, it was from the left side as well. So I'm doing all these from the left side based on my orientation.
Okay, copy that. You're the expert.
I'm working on latch 2 now.
Copy latch 2. Nemo, how are you doing?
Good. I'm still deleting rocket.
Copy.
Joe Akaba and Scott Tingle rotating the latching end effector once more to give Mark Vande a good position for greasing up latch 2. Again, he just completed lubing up latch 4 and 1. He'll do number 2 and then wrapping up with latch number 3.
Okay, Jason, confirm state. Dead mode is cold, and I believe it's structure, yes. And I'm going to try clockwise 3 times until hard stop.
Good words. Clockwise 3 turns.
Norishige Kanai ratcheting down that robot microconical tool to the Dexter.
Hey, Mark. Good going. Good.
How about you?
Also good.
Sounds like it.
Yep. Actually, sorry for maker.
Oh, you didn't get to do it.
Yes. Oops.
Very happy to watch you put the RMCT on Nemo. Great job, and I got some pictures of it, so I could covet that forever.
Hey, my system, I accidentally hit the boat, and now it's drive mode is X.
Standby check-in. Nemo, you can press and cycle the drive mode indicator to call it mode. You might have to press it a couple times.
Look at that. Yes. Okay, confirm back to close mode.
Copy. So you can continue with driving the bolt clockwise, 3 turns to a hard stop. And make sure don't press on it too much because that would change the mode.
Yes. Thank you.
Go ahead, Mark.
Aki, latch number 2 is complete.
Copy.
Latch number 2 is complete. And I'm ready for the GCA. Do you need the comm, Aki?
We are good. You have the comm.
How about you, Nemo?
Good.
All right, Joe and Maker, let's do a positive wrist roll of 110 and start the GCA.
He's starting the GCA, and that's in work.
Mark Vande wrapping up, applying grease to that third latch number 2. Now Joe Akaba and Scott Tingle on the controls for the robotic arm will rotate it one last time to get it into position for applying grease to the last latch, latch number 3. In the meantime, Norishige Kanai ratcheting down that new tool to Dexter. Scott Tingle hopped on the loop to tell him he got some great photos of him doing the job during the nighttime. Again, him and Joe Akaba are in the cupola module, sort of the bay window that looks down on the Earth and also has the controls for the station's robotic arm. They're watching their fellow crew members perform this EVA way ahead of schedule and get some of these get-ahead tasks done.
GCA complete, and brakes are on.
Thank you.
And Nemo, if you have your BRT on a handrail, stabilize your body, you can use your left hand, hold the RMCT and drive the bolt, if that helps.
Okay. Thank you.
Ground IV Aki Hoshide walking Norishige Kanai through this task of ratcheting down that microconical tool, referring to his body restraint tether to make sure he was secure to the station so he can use both hands to complete this task.
How's the top?
Copy. Make sure the call-it status indicator is in lock mode, LO key.
I have cold, lock, and red.
Copy. And if you can press the toggle, press and toggle the RMCT drive mode to the EXT position.
Okay, push 1. And yes, right now, EXT. Lock. And
Copy that.
red.
You can stow your ratchet wrench into the medium or U bag and make sure that the work site is clear of tools and tethers.
Okay. Yeah.
With that, Norishige Kanai is wrapping up his work, ratcheting down that new tool onto the Dexter. He'll now clean up his work site and move on to see if he can get another get-ahead task done. In the meantime, Mark Vande wrapping up applying grease to that last latch.
Okay.
And for Nemo, just wanted to confirm what the socket position indicator is showing.
I confirmed it was X and the lock and the red.
Copy that. And Nemo, that's a good config. Thank you.
Thank you.
After you tidy up that work site, we'll get a glove and hap check from you.
Huh?
After a few checks, Norishige Kanai reporting that the tool that he recently installed onto Dexter is nice and secure. With that, he'll kind of wrap up and clean up his work site, perform a glove and hap check, just making sure there are no scuff marks on his glove and making sure his helmet absorption pad is dry, and then he'll move on to his next task.
The mark? Yes, sir. Still working on the lube? I am. Okay, it's a hard job. It's a little tedious, but yeah. Doesn't involve a lot of translation. Okay, Houston, I have bag inventory ready.
And Nemo, since we're going to work on the FMS ground strap, we can take the inventory after the FMS grounding strap task.
Okay. So in that case, I am successfully install the bracket inside the bag.
Copy that. And thanks for that offer. We'll take a glove and hap check.
Okay, I have gloves. I have just a surface lateral part cut on the right hand index finger. Other than that, right is good. Left hand is still clean. and help is dry.
Copy all. Thank you. So next for you, you can take your medium or
Almost got that command out before we handed over communication. Just switching satellites now with the tracking and data relay satellites to provide video and audio communication with our 2 spacewalkers outside the International Space Station. The International Space Station flying 261 statute miles just southwest of Australia over the Indian Ocean. Here in the room, Zeb Scoville, flight director, leading the teams here for today's spacewalking activities, working with Sarah Corona behind him, the lead EVA officer that's reading off some of the procedures, working with Hoshide and Scoville to determine the next set of tasks that will be determined for Norishige Kanai.
I'm going to the ground strap work site. Right, yeah, that is over to later, I think.
stand by.
Copy.
All right, Nemo, thanks for your work there. You can pick up your medium or U bag, and then next task for you is the FMS grounding strap, which is on Node 2 Nader port. In order to get to there, we recommend just going back the way you came, just follow your safety tether to lab zenith, and then go forward, and then on the starboard side, go Nader.
Okay, so climbing up, nav, zenith, and down to the port side, correct?
Stand by.
So Kanai has wrapped up his activities installing the microconical tool, one of the get-ahead tasks to install that tool onto Dexter. Now looking at some of the get-aheads and determining what can be accomplished, they're deciding to go to install what's called an FMS grounding strap. It's a force movement sensor that's on the latching end effector of the station's robotic arm, just working with one of the straps and installing it onto that latching end effector. Kanai is now moving over to Node 2 Harmony, where that latching end effector is, while Mark Vande, still on the portable foot restraint of the external platform, continues to work with the station's robotic arm.
Nav and the Node 2, port side.
Copy. So I guess you're really close on the Lee Alpha.
Actually, yeah, I think yes, my left hand is holding the Endocon 100 of the Node 2.
Copy.
Aki, I'm ready to start the linear ball tracks. If you guys would go with that.
And for Nemo, you need to go a little bit nader towards your feet to get to the work site.
All right, I do not need time over the lab.
Say again, Nemo.
Oh, later.
Ground IV Aki Hoshide guiding Norishige Kanai to the next work site on the nadir or the earth-facing side of Harmony, where the other end of the station's robotic arm is. In his equipment bag is the grounding strap that he will install onto that latching end effector, while Mark Vande works on the other side of the station's robotic arm, continuing to apply grease.
Linear tracks, whatever they are.
And we are good with that, Mark. Thank you.
All right, Joe and Maker, let's retract the latches.
Okay, copy. We'll go ahead and retract the latches, put that in work.
Thank you.
And while we're retracting the latches for Mark, you can install the wipe with the wire tie to cover up the cradle on the BLT.
It's complete.
Awesome.
So Mark Vande already wrapping up his get-ahead task to lubricate the latches and the center ball screw of the latching end effector. He's gotten through all 4 of the latches and the center ball screw. Now he's just going to wipe down his tools and clean up the work site on this end of the station's robotic arm, while Norishige Kanai continues to get to his workstation, his new get-ahead task to install a grounding strap on the other side. Lee A, latching end effector A, the one that was swapped out back in October 2017 with Mark Vande and Randy Bresnik.
Okay, Houston, I have the work site, the 0336.
Okay, copy that. You'll have to drop your green hook so that the safety tether is not pulling you in a wrong direction. We did have some handrails in there, but in the procedure, but since we're approaching the work site from a different direction, it's your call where you want to drop your green hook.
Okay. I will drop green hook here.
The Mark latches retracted.
Oh, that was a lot quicker than I expected. So.
And Nemo, if you can report the handrail.
0336.
Copy.
Actually, I'm tracking that I need to put 1 bead on each side of the linear bearing tracks, which means 4 beads per latch, and make sure I don't hit the, I'm not sure if they are, the micro fixtures in the middle. Stay away from those.
That is correct. Micro switches is what you don't want to grease. And caution, avoid contact with the keep out zone, which is the micro switches. So you'll go to grease the linear bearing tracks.
Go. Okay, green hook attached to 0336, and the wheel is unlocked. I'm happy.
Copy. You can stow the medium or U bag on a handrail. Again, we had 0376, but you can use whatever handrail you'd like.
Okay.
Kanai now beginning the steps to install that grounding strap onto the Lee A side of the station's robotic arm, while Vande wraps up the greasing activities on the other side, on the Lee B side.
Aki, I did the first bearing track. I didn't exactly leave a bead. I'd say it looks a lot more like a blob. It didn't touch the micro sensors, but not the little tiny bearing bead I was expecting. See that in the WVS?
Yeah, it's kind of dark right now, so we don't really have a good resolution, but we're good with that. And report which latch and inside or outside.
So this is latch number 3, inside on the left bearing track.
Copy.
A little dark as Mark Vande continues to wrap up his procedures to put away some of the tools he used for the lubing activities of the station's robotic arm. But as you can see right now, we're encountering an orbital sunrise. Things will start to brighten up a little bit slowly as the station orbits around the Earth, now 263 statute miles above the Earth, just about to pass south of New Zealand into the terminator line, where we'll see an orbital sunrise.
Back is finished out successfully.
And Nemo, one recommendation, I guess. When you're moving around the lee, watch out for the target, which is under the lee, and also if you look around for a good BRT position.
Okay. And could you repeat where is the no touch point?
Standby. And the CLA and the radiative surface on the lee. There is a target on the lab side, or sorry, yeah, the node 2 side. So it might be exposed, so just don't kick it.
Okay. I will do my best.
From the helmet camera of Norishige, Kanai, you can see the connection between Node 2 and the Destiny Laboratory. Node 2 is where the station's robotic arm is. You can see the latching end effector now connected there. That's where Kanai will be installing those ground straps and secure the latching end effector to that point. On top of having the difficult task of installing these ground straps, he also has to look out for any sensitive equipment, making sure that he's in a good orientation and won't be kicking anything sensitive during this task.
Yeah, I've got latch 3 complete. Do you want photos after it's done each time? For each latch or not?
We can do it afterwards, after you're complete with all 4.
Okay. So, Aki, I'm ready. Aki, need the comm?
Negative, I think Nemo's got it right now, so we are happy with you having the comm.
And Nemo, one more check with you. You need the comm?
Yep,
Nemo.
all yours.
All right, thank you. And Baker and Joe, let's start at UCA. It's a negative 110 roll.
All right, Mark, we copy that. We'll go back to latch 2.
Thank you.
Joe Okaba and Scott Tingle again at the controls of the station's robotic arm, going to rotate the latching end effector one more time, give Mark Vande a good view of all the different latches that